Hey guys, welcome to episode 4 of the Tom and the Wolverine MMA show. Tonight it's just me. Tom couldn't be here because of schedule conflicts, so hopefully he'll be back on the next show so we can talk about the upcoming UFC pay-per-view this weekend. But I want to do a quick show tonight just to go through the UFC Fight Night from last Saturday. We talked about the fight that didn't happen, but now I'd like to talk about the fights that actually did happen. So let's go ahead. I'm going to pull up the fight card right now. The fight I want to start talking about was actually, I predicted all of the main card fights. Those are what we're going to mainly concentrate on, but I did want to talk about the first fight of the night, which was a fight between Alice Ardelin and Rayanne Dos Santos. That ended up being fight of the night. Those were two girls that went out there and fought like their careers in the UFC depended on it. I was super impressed. Could they have had technically maybe some little bit better defensive skills? Yes, but those girls were both out there to win that fight. They got in a slugfest. I don't know where those girls are on their contracts, but if either one of their contracts are up, they should keep them both. I was super impressed. They got fight of the night, so they each got that $50,000 bonus. But those girls were awesome. They went out and they gave it everything they had and left it all in the cage. Like I said, they fought like their careers in the UFC depended on it. In contrast, we're going to go to the first fight of the main card, which was Mr. Zachary Reese versus Dusko Todorovic. These guys, I said in my predictions that both these guys needed a win to stay in the UFC. They're both off of Dana White's Contender Series, and they've both not been able to put together an actual win streak since they've been in the UFC. I did not see two guys that were fighting like their careers in the UFC depended on it. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but man, I almost feel like both these guys could find themselves pretty easily back on the regional scene, trying to work their way back into the UFC, which sometimes happens, and sometimes guys come back way better second time around. But like I said, I did predict that Zachary Reese would win. I think I said he would stop him in the second round. It ended up being a judge's decision, and it just was not the most exciting fight. I felt like both guys were just trying to do enough to eke out a decision. So unfortunately, wasn't a great fight. I would have rather seen those two girls throw down first fight of the main card. But next we're going to get to the next fight, which was the girls' featherweight fight, women's featherweight fight, sorry. I need to be politically correct and say women's fight. We had Ketlin Vieira against Macy Chiasson. That fight, I said it would be close. I honestly was about ready to switch my pick for who was going to win that fight after the weigh-ins because things got weird and we had I guess Ketlin Vieira's team go to the UFC middle of the night, day before the weigh-ins, and say, hey, she's not making 135. Can we move it to featherweight? So the crazy thing is she got fined, from what I read, she got fined 20% of her purse, which is the same amount Macy Barber was getting fined for being over by half a pound. So crazy thing is, she weighed in at 146 pounds, which is the weight limit for featherweight when it was supposed to be a bantamweight fight. 136 would have been max. So, I guess her opponent, Macy Chiasson, how do you pronounce it? I guess she got notice at like 5 in the morning, day of weigh-ins. Hey, we're moving the fight up a weight class. Do you still want to fight? Said yes. She started eating and rehydrating then, but I guess she was within a couple pounds of that 136 pound limit. She got back up to 144 pounds. These are pretty good sized girls cutting a decent amount of weight for their size. We talked about the whole weight cutting issue, especially with the women's classes, and how I feel like it's twice as difficult for a woman fighter female fighter to cut weight as it is for a male fighter to cut weight. I mean, this is another sign right here that maybe they need to bring back the 145-pound weight class. Maybe there's enough demand for it as far as the girls they have under contract. Or maybe you let these girls go over to PFL and compete. I don't know. But, I mean, I don't know what was going on with Ketlen Vieira, how she was signed a contract to fight at 135 and came at 146, and how you have the same amount of money you're fined, the same percentage of your purse fine, 20% for being right at the limit for the next weight class above, as you do for being a half a pound over. It's crazy, but whatever. It was an okay fight. Chie-Son tried to come back in the third round. She'd been controlled the whole fight. Last minute, she was trying to swing for the fences and try to get Ketlen out of there, but she didn't. Tough fight. I definitely think Chie-Son, her career in the UFC shouldn't be at risk. I mean, she fought, she did everything she had to do to make the weight, and then, hey, come in a weight class above on the day of. I mean, that's crazy. But I mean, like I said, if somebody misses weight that much, I think Ketlen Vieira should be dropped in the ranks a little bit in bantamweight. Maybe she needs to prove that she can actually make bantamweight and then be put back in the ranks. Maybe pull her completely from the ranks. I don't think that should affect Macy Chie-Son's ranking if she is ranked. Let's look really quick. I don't know for sure if she is ranked at... let me close this one out. Let's go to women's bantamweight. I got the champ Juliana Pena, Raquel Pennington ranked number 1. Kayla Harrison, who is challenging Juliana Pena on Saturday. We'll talk about that on the next show. Ketlen Vieira is ranked number 3. I mean, Macy Chie-Son is ranked number 5. To me, even though Ketlen Vieira beat Macy Chie-Son by a decision, I think you need to pull Ketlen Vieira from the weight class until she can prove that she's actually a bantamweight by making weight, and move Macy Chie-Son up a spot to 4. Norma Dumont move up a spot. That's my opinion on that. Alright, so let's go on to the next fight. Enough about missing weight. We've had enough talk about that lately. Okay, so this next fight. I predicted that the up-and-coming Bruno Lopez, because of his record, was going to be able to get the win over Dustin Jacoby. I did say, if you remember, that I would love for Dustin Jacoby to prove me wrong, because I've been a fan of his. Pretty much most of his career I followed him, and I think that guy is amazing. I love his stand-up skills. He came back the previous fight and got a win over Vitor. I can't remember the last Patreon, something that started with a P. But we're not talking about that fight right now. But he came back, got the win the previous fight by a knockout in the third round. He got this fight done in the first round. Jacoby, a couple fights back, of course, got KO'd by the former champ, and I'm going to call him the former champ because I believe he should have gotten the belt years ago against John Jones. But Dominic Reyes got the win and got his career back on track by beating Jacoby. It looks like Jacoby's got his career back on track. Hopefully, I mean, I'd love to see that guy fight somebody ranked. And like I said, I couldn't be happier that I was wrong about this one because I'm a huge fan of his. I just thought with, Bruno Lopez's record, only ever having one defeat, I think it was 16-1 or 19-1. Pretty impressive record, but I mean, Jacoby got him out of there in round 1, so that was amazing. That was good to see. We're going to move on to the next fight, which was Ramiz Brahimaj versus Billy Goff. I predicted that Ramiz would win that fight by submission, and I said round 2. He got it done in round 1, which this guy has a history of doing. I just thought Billy Goff seemed like a pretty tough guy. I'm sure he is a tough guy, but I mean, Ramiz just proved that he's got the superior jiu-jitsu and getting a guillotine choke and choking the guy unconscious in the first round, it was pretty sharp. I was impressed with that guy. We are not seeing as many, guys that are just really good with their jiu-jitsu lately. It's cool to see a guy that has now, 10 submissions? I believe 10 submissions on his record. Really impressed with that guy. Billy Goff looked tough. He looked strong, and Ramiz just got him down and got that guillotine choke, and it was over. Choked him unconscious. All right, so now we're going to go to the fight that wasn't supposed to be the main event, but it ended up being the main event. And that is Mateusz Gamrot versus Ludwig Klein. Man, what can you say about Gamrot? Let's look at his record there. 25-3-0. I believe his 3 losses are all by decisions. May even be split decisions. I know he lost to Beneil Dariush. Klein's striking looked sharp. Gamrot even stood with him for a while. He took him down a lot, controlled him on the ground, and did what Gamrot does, which is pound you out, man. He just worked him over. Great fight. It's too bad. If we would have known this was the main event, maybe they could have made this a 5-round fight ahead of time. It says something about Gamrot when Arman Tsarukyan, who's ranked number 2 now, did not want to fight Gamrot again, even though Gamrot has a win over him. I always had the mentality when I fought, man, if somebody ever got a win over me, or if I had even a close fight and edged out a win over somebody else, I wanted to fight that person again to prove that, it wasn't a fluke the first time, or if they beat me, to prove that, I could come back and beat them. So I don't know why Arman Tsarukyan would not want to fight Gamrot unless, he's scared he's going to get knocked down in those rankings. But, Tsarukyan needs a win against somebody. He's probably not going to get a fight with Paddy Pimblett. He's probably not going to get a fight with Justin Gaethje. He should have taken the fight with Gamrot. He's going to be sitting waiting now even longer. He's not going to be getting a title shot anytime soon because of the fact that he had the title shot once and he bailed with a back injury, which is understandable, man. You got a significant injury, all of a sudden the day before the fight you can't move. I honestly thought that Arman Tsarukyan was going to beat Islam Makhachev in that fight. So, I thought their first fight, it was close. That could have gone either way. I thought maybe Arman should have won the first time around. So, I thought he matched up really well. Now, we're never going to get to see that with Islam moving up to welterweight. So, unless for some reason he comes down, if he doesn't have success at welterweight, we could see, possibly Islam Makhachev come back down. But I don't really foresee that happening. Gamrot, what do you do with Gamrot next? That guy, let's go ahead and go to the UFC rankings again. And let's check out and see where Gamrot is ranked. All right, lightweight rankings. You still have Makhachev listed as the champ, even though he's vacating the belt and moving up to fight for the welterweight title. You have Arman Tsarukyan. Never mind. He is actually still ranked number 1. Charles Oliveira ranked number 2. Oliveira is going to fight, of course, against Ilia Topuria for the belt. Tsarukyan gets passed over because he just was supposed to have a title shot. And, injury or not, he backed out. So, you got Justin Gaethje. Tsarukyan would like to fight him. Of course, Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier are going to do their thing coming up. That's going to be a great fight. That's going to be amazing. I don't know what happens in that. Max looked amazing when he actually, bulked up and was put on a little bit of size to fight at 155 against Justin Gaethje. I think, putting that size on and then trying to drop back down to 145 to fight Topuria, I think that really hurt him. I honestly think Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria at 155 might be a different fight. He might have a better chin, not cutting that weight after bulking up. Then we got Dan Hooker. I don't know if Tsarukyan and Hooker fought before. I can't remember. And then you got Gamrot, number 7. Tsarukyan should have fought him. No reason he shouldn't have taken that fight with Gamrot. Even though he's ranked number 7, Justin Gaethje, who Justin Gaethje just fight? he fought down the rankings. He fought Rafael Fiziev, you know, got a win over Fiziev, and now, I mean, people are talking about, oh, Justin Gaethje, one more fight, and he's fighting for the belt. I mean, you can't turn down fights. When you're ranked at the top, you want to keep your name relevant to get a title shot. And, I mean, let's face it. I mean, Sarukian is really, really good. He's had some fights that weren't as exciting. I mean, I know he had a knockout win over Benil, one of my favorite fighters, so I was a little upset about that one. But the fight with Oliveira could have gone either way. I mean, we could easily see Charles ranked number 1 and Arman Sarukian ranked number 2 if judges had just seen that fight slightly different. I mean, the submission attempts, to me, that's effort to finish the fight. I count that more than control positions. I think, I mean, that fight was so close. Could have gone either way. So, I mean, Sarukian can't complain that he's being passed over because he already had the opportunity. Charles has been champion before. Man, I think that's going to be a great fight. I think we could see Charles potentially beat Ilya. For people to say he has no chance is crazy. You're talking about one of the guys who has the most finishes in the UFC. Yes, Ilya's amazing. But, I mean, we've seen him fight at 155 before. He ended up finishing his opponent, I believe. But, I mean, it was a tougher fight. Definitely a tougher fight. So, I mean, who knows? We'll see. That's why they do the fights, so we can see who's better, you know. We can throw out predictions and stuff all day long, but, I mean, until the fight happens, you never know. And that's what the sport of MMA is. Anything else I want to talk about tonight? I do want to, I mean, really quickly go back to the whole situation with the main event. We talked a lot about Macy Barber last time. We didn't talk about the Erin Blanchfield lost a huge opportunity. Really sucks for her because, you know, that girl did everything she had to do. She was ready to walk out to the cage, and all of a sudden gets notified, oh, yeah, your fight's off. I've never had that happen. I mean, I got to weigh-ins for a fight one time up in Loveland, Colorado, and my opponent no-showed, and he lived in that town. So, I mean, that was very disappointing. You know, I trained really hard for that fight, and like day before I find out fight's not happening, I do believe the promoter gave my whole family cage side tickets. We got to watch the fights the next night for free, and he did pay me what he was supposed to, my appearance money. I think I was just getting paid flat rate, so I walked away with the money that I was supposed to get for fighting. But then after that, I mean, I definitely see where Erin Blanchfield is saying, you know, she doesn't want to be signed to fight Macy Barber again. I mean, totally understandable. I mean, once you've been there and you're ready to fight this person and they don't make it to the cage, totally understandable that she's like, hey, I'm moving on to a different fight. There's some good girls in that division. Let me go back to the rankings really quick here. Now that I put it away here. All right, let's go back to the rankings really quick. So rankings for 125-pound women, and I do have to say, I'm sorry, the other night on the show, I was calling the women's flyweight division bantamweight several times, even though it was right in front of me, it said flyweight. But of course, we have Valentina as number 1, Natalia Silva as number 2, and where do we go? Okay, here we are. We have Manon Fiorot, who just fought. We've got Alexa Grasso, who lost to Natalia Silva. So to me, I don't know. Erin Blanchfield is ranked number 4. She don't want to fight Macy Barber again, which I understand. You know, like I said, I had that situation where I trained to fight someone, and I'm not gonna say his name because we're friends and everything, but I was supposed to fight him the first time, and he had a bunch of personal problems and just decided he couldn't bring himself to fight that weekend. No call, no show. So then they they set us up to fight again. And I'm like, why? You didn't show up last time. Why are we doing this again? And second time around, week before the fight, I dislocate my rib in training. I was still going to attempt to fight, went to the chiropractor, got my rib popped back in, and then after my rib was popped back in, I went to work the next day. I'm reaching above my head, and my rib pops back out of place. I had to go back to the chiropractor. He pops my rib back into place. Says, what did you do the second time to make your rib pop out? I said, I reached above my head. And he says, and you're fighting next Saturday? And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be. So I called the promoter and I said, man, I can't fight. And the promoter was like, oh, my whole card's falling apart. And I think he got rude with me and hung up on me. But it was a legitimate injury. I don't think I would have done very well with a dislocated rib, especially considering I was getting ready to fight a pretty good wrestler. And at that time, I don't think my takedown defense was quite as good as it should have been. I don't know if I had started training in a cage all the time yet. So then we got signed to fight a third time. And this is back in kind of I would say what would we call it? The golden age of mixed martial arts, when, I mean, there were just then commissions starting to take over, sanctioning fights. And so we're getting ready to fight again for a third time, even though we hadn't fought the first two times. And I'm all prepared. I'm training hard. And I believe it was like, man, the week or two before the fight, all of a sudden, Colorado's Boxing Commission decided, hey, we're going to start sanctioning mixed martial arts. And so what they did was they said, hey, we're sanctioning the pro fights, and right now amateur MMA is illegal. And so what they told everybody was, if you're an amateur and you want to fight pro on one of these shows coming up, you can turn pro now, and they can still do the event and turn all these amateur fights into pro, and maybe, those guys maybe get $100 for showing up, and now they're pro fighters. The fight, like I said, it was really close, and over half the fights were amateur fights. So what ended up happening was the whole event got canceled because not enough of those amateurs wanted to turn pro to have a full card of fights. So the entire event got canceled. And after that, I told my buddy that was supposed to fight, I said, hey, man, we're never going to fight each other. First time, you have all kinds of personal problems. Second time, I get injured and I can't fight. Third time, the whole event gets canceled. I mean, and everything changed. I mean, a month later, they were allowing amateur fights again, and the licensing process was just different. So, but I mean, the whole event got canceled. So, 8 years later, we're a few weeks out from the fight. My opponent that I had was suspended, and they told me, hey, remember that guy you were supposed to fight 3 times before? He says he wants to fight you. He's coming out to fight you. I'm like, seriously? That's never going to happen. And until we were weighed in and we were checked by the doctors and he was cleared and I was cleared, I still really didn't even believe the fight was going to happen. I trained hard for it no matter what. I was preparing for a different opponent that I'd fought a couple times already. But we got out there, and 58 seconds later, I won the fight. I mean, like I said, I think if I had fought him years before when we were supposed to fight the first time, maybe I still would have won. It would have been a totally different fight, though, because I didn't have that time in the cage training, working takedown defense up against the fence, working stand back up against the fence. So I've gotten way off topic with this story, but main thing I was trying to say is, hey, I see where Blanchfield is coming from. I understand why she doesn't want to try to fight Macy Barber. She's had the fight canceled multiple times now. And this last time, minutes before it was supposed to happen, I don't see Macy Barber. I mean, she's going to have to go through some major medical stuff to get cleared to fight. So I don't think it's an issue. I think Blanchfield versus Jasmine Davicius would be a great fight. They are very similar fighters. They both have really good ground skills. Maybe her versus Natalia Silva. I don't see a reason for her to fight Grasso right now. I'd rather see two girls who are winning consistently fight each other. I mean, she already beat Rose. But, I mean, we had Valentina Shevchenko was at the event. I think I mean, the other thing that really is rough for Blanchfield is, her, Macy Barber, whoever came out of that fight and looked really impressive, there was a chance Shevchenko would have said, yeah, I want that next. I think that's been talked about on some of the other shows. But, I mean, if it had been a great fight, we would have seen Shevchenko probably say, that's the biggest challenge for me is Erin Blanchfield, or Macy Barber's the biggest challenge for me. But instead, because the fight didn't happen, now we're going to, what they were kind of planning to begin with, which is Wei Li moving up and challenging her for a second belt. Like I said, when me and Tom did the show the other day, I think Wei Li is the exception for the double champ thing. I definitely think she's active enough, and she's cleared out most of her division. I mean, when we pull this up, we look at it, she hasn't beat Verna, who's number one, but she's beat Tatiana Suarez, she's beat Yan Xinan, she's beat Amanda Lemos, and she's beat Jessica Andrade. So, I mean, you got 4 of the top 5 fighters she's already beaten in her division. No reason why she can't fight for that second belt. I think she can put on the size. I don't know how much she cuts, but I definitely think. And Valentina's not huge, so I think that would be a great fight. I would love to see Wei Li versus Valentina. Like I said, it really sucks for Erin Blanchfield, because I mean, if she had just gone out there and just crushed Macy Barber, which was what I was predicting was going to happen, I think we'd be looking at a different fight for Valentina versus Erin Blanchfield. But now we're not. We're looking at Wei Li versus Valentina. Great fight. But this means, because of what happened, Blanchfield was a fight away. Now she's still a fight away, and maybe another 6 months away from a title shot. But we'll see what happens. You never know. Maybe she could be backup fighter for that women's super fight. And if something happens to Wei Li, or if Valentina can't fight, which I wouldn't see that happening, because I mean, both those girls always seem to make it to their fight. They don't seem to get injured very often that I've heard of. So there's that. All right, let's go back. So we talked about all the fights. What's next for Gamrot? I don't really know. I don't know who he fights next. Let's go back to the lightweight rankings really quick, because I did want to get this done within less than 30 minutes. I'm at 27 minutes right now. So let's go to the lightweight rankings. I'm jumping around here, sorry. Lightweight. Alright. Look at these rankings one more time tonight. I mean, to me, Gamrot versus Hooker, Gamrot versus Sarukian. I mean, those are the 2 fights you got available, because, like I said, I believe we're going to see Paddy Pimblett versus Gaethje. I don't think Sarukian's getting a fight with either one of those guys. I mean, that could be, co-main event. I don't think they're going to risk a co-main event on Arman after he bailed last time around. He's going to have to, fight down the card a little bit against Dan Hooker or Gamrot to get his name back in there if he wants to challenge for the belt. Right now, I would say, the winner of Gaethje versus Paddy, probably next in line for the title shot after Ilya versus Charles. You could also see, I mean, if Max were to get Dustin out of there, you could see him in line for the title shot next. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I've talked as much as I want to talk on my own. So, hopefully Tom is back tomorrow. We can do another show, and we will talk about the UFC coming up this weekend, the pay-per-view, Sean O'Malley versus Merab. I'll say his last name a bunch next show. I'll practice pronouncing his last name correctly. But Merab, oh man, I don't want to give my predictions away yet. But we got that for the main event. You've got the co-main event of Juliana Pena defending her belt against the massive um, Harrison. It's just going to be a great fight. Oh, man. I don't even know what to say about those fights. I think it's going to be a great night of fights. We're going to talk about that tomorrow, though. Kayla Harrison, man, she's a beast. We've been seeing pictures of her. She is so. Saw her standing next to Merab. Merab is men's champ at 135. She's fighting for the 135-pound title for women, and she makes Merab look like a midget. I mean, it's crazy. She's just so strong. Man, that's going to be a great fight. You can never question the heart of Juliana Pena, though. She's got a puncher's chance. Maybe something happens and she jumps on her back like she did to Amanda Nunes. I don't know what happens on that fight. But I have predictions, and I'm going to talk about those with Tom next show. I'm going to get his predictions, and we're going to go through that entire main card. Probably won't touch the prelims. Maybe there's some good fights on the prelims, but I mean, they're not the most recognizable names. So we'll talk about the main card pay-per-view coming up the weekend next show. So for now, oh, by the way, I've been meaning to say this each time we do these shows, but this artwork you see behind me, I'll change out the artwork every few shows, but this is artwork by my wife, Val. She's really gotten into painting. If anybody's interested in purchasing any of that artwork, leave me a comment, send me a message. She would definitely like to sell a little bit of it. We have paintings all over our house. Everybody have a great night, and I'll hopefully see you tomorrow for the pre-show for UFC 316. But that's it for now. So I'm the Wolverine. Next time Tom will be back, and we'll see you.